Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. This is your favorite boys, one the great, the one and only Jackson Takwenya here, and my brother Nelson right there. Today's episode, we just want to touch on a little bit about the opportunities we've been talking about in the previous episodes. The people that got here, how they got here, the organizations they were part of, uh, how to get to those organizations, when to apply, how to apply, things to look out for. So things like that. We want to share that information with you guys. And, maybe hopefully one or two people can get the information, use it and, travel here if that's what you want to do. Yeah. And so without further ado, I think the first organization we should talk about is, the one that brought us here, bro.
The
New
one.
Seasons Youth Program.
What a fitting name. New
I
season.
know.
It's literally a new season when you get here.
A new
Um,
season in your life.
like, where do you even start from? I think let's take it a step back. Let's start from high school.
Hmm.
Let's start from high school. So let's pick it up from I don't know, 10th grade because I feel like that's where you need to like start developing your application.
Yeah, yeah.
So 10th grade, there you are. You you pretty much have a rough idea of what you want to pursue um for the rest of your career, or even if you don't, that's totally fine. You can start working on your application portions. For starters, um, so two paths here. If you want to study um, abroad, specifically in the USA, mostly they want you to have like a well-rounded application. So that means your academics should be in check, your community service should be in check, and just overall your personal life should like tick all areas. You shouldn't just be focused on one front, which is what we mostly tend to do in Zambia. It's mostly either academic or the community aspect. So just have all those things ticked off. Your academic should be on point. Your volunteering, whatever that looks like, should be on point. And then, yeah, personal development as well. So what this essentially means is maintain your good grades, but also find a good cause that you can um, either volunteer for. That could be church or a non-governmental organization that aligns with your values as a person, and then also making sure you're developing other essential life skills that are dear to you. For example, public speaking, um, and the like. So I feel like that period from grade 10 to grade 12, you should be developing that and also discovering yourself more.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think you have to add on to that?
Yeah, like a lot of what you've said applies, right? Like you need to be what the term they like using these admissions officers, a
Mm,
holistic candidate. So when it comes to college and getting into any college outside Zambia, Zambia we know it's just about results. Get your 6 points and stick to those. But it's more than that if you want to travel abroad or get scholarships and stuff. You need to be more than just academics. You need academics, but you need to do other things as well. Like you say, you are already a part of many organizations. You are a church goer. You can do some church activities, community service. The community you come from doesn't have to be grant. You can go to a local clinic, local community school, volunteer your time there. You are at a clinic, volunteer, whatever. I'll give an example for me, right? In 10th grade specifically, uh, I was volunteering at a local community school in Kanyama, where I used to teach the seventh graders, helping them with their preparations for the exams. Uh, it's volunteer work. I wasn't getting paid. I just did it because one, I knew that I needed it for my applications, but also
yeah.
it's my community. It's where I come from. These are people I see every day, and if I can help in one way or the other, I will do that. And so, yeah, doing that, and also during this process of like Nelson said, discovering yourself, you can also start your own things. We are living in a space, in a world where you can start anything up. Yeah, you are into photography and stuff. You can start capturing photos and creating your portfolio. You love designs. You can start working in those now. They don't have to be perfect, but they need to see an initiative. That way, you are making yourself a little bit more holistic. By the time you graduate your high school, you would have had a couple of things that you can write about. Because applications, most people think it's so formal, and yeah, you need to like put your best self out there, but you need to think of it as, how do you want people to perceive you as a person when they see you? What information do you want to give out there? It's like you're telling a story about yourself. So if you have all these things to talk about, you're going to have a lot of things that you can write about and that you can bring out when you're doing these applications.
Yeah. And so that's very essential, just like Jackson said, making sure you tick all the boxes. And so moving along on the timeline, so 10 to 12, you have that in check. I think some of the opportunities currently that we can both point to. I think now in Zambia there are a lot of NGOs that a person who wants to can volunteer.
Hmm.
There are a lot of uh there are a lot that talk about like women advancement, I
Mm.
is, think is the word. I think there's Coopers that I know of. There are some that specifically, tackle like human rights and stuff. You can volunteer to those. Academically, you can also make sure you're a part of the Junior Engineers and Technicians and Scientists Club
Yeah.
that most schools have, also called JETS. I served as JETS president from 11th to 12th grade, and that gave me so much exposure in terms of just, going to those Olympiads, doing projects. You also just get to interact with other students from other schools where you get to see, more than your school. So that's early on exposure where you're seeing beyond what you would normally see. So that challenges you as a person because there's that thing that tends to happen most of the time. Yakobati, at your school, you think you're the biggest, and
Yeah.
then you go and see other people, and you're like, okay, there's something there.
Yeah.
So exposure early on is very important, and all these things that you start indulging in will give you that early exposure, which is very necessary. So do some jets if you can. Uh, if it's debate for you, do that. So this list can be highly personalized depending on what you want to do, right? Um, and then, like we said, there are plenty of non-governmental organizations that you can try and volunteer for, or even if it's a governmental organization, volunteer for them. Off
Yeah.
the top of my head, those are just some of the ones that popped up in my head. I'm not sure if you have any organizations that you would like to add onto this.
Yeah, I think the ones we've talked about, specific examples when it comes to organizations, I think I don't have organizations specifically. Like I said, these institutions for me.
Yeah.
Schools, clinics, these people you can volunteer.
Hmm.
You're into media, you can talk to these people. It's volunteer work. We had an episode with Christian Chavula, and he was talking about how like the interns, they had a lot of interns at some point. I think it's 2022 or something. Those interns, they just didn't go there like to get paid. Some of them went there just for the experience. So even you, while in high school, you need to go and have this conversation with them. And you know what that looks like if you say, I was interning, I was doing this at this radio station. And if you're into, that field and you put that on your application and you have the good grades, that will put you a step ahead of some people. So take the initiative, talk to these institutions and just do stuff. Just do stuff. We're in our youth. We need to be doing stuff. Don't just focus on school. School, yes, it's good, but exposure adds more value than just the grades.
Yep, that's true. So yeah, there are plenty of organizations that you can look up to and do that sort of stuff. So that is done. You finish your grade 12, you have your results.
Actually, actually, before you even finish the grade 12, if you're thinking about the US specifically,
Yeah.
while in high school, look up SATs. Start practicing if you can.
So what are
Uh,
SATs?
so SATs, these are just standardized tests that, most colleges, especially here in the United States, use to gauge your understanding of mathematics and English specifically. And then mostly if you're into engineering and these STEM careers, they have what are known as subject tests, something specific to whatever you want to do. But yeah, SAT is a standardized test that everybody has to take for them to gauge to see your understanding of the core subject, which is mathematics and English. And there are different components within this. For English, there's grammar, there's writing, there's what in grade 12 we call comprehension and other stuff. So they have all these components similar to what you have in your high school, but it's just timed, tell you to solve 30 questions in 30 minutes and that stuff. So that can stress, extra stress, adds, mistakes when you are under pressure sometimes. But it's the same things that you encounter in school and you just have to start reading up on them, especially if you want to come to the US. I'm not really sure about the UK, but the US, most schools want you to take those things, those SATs. So look them up while in high school. You can start practicing while in high school. You're talking to somebody who did it, who studied while in high school to take these exams. So anybody can do it at any time. You don't have to wait. Because what happens is they're not taken like throughout the year. They have specific dates when you have to take this subject, I mean, this SATs. So if you wait until you finish school, you are postponing your application time frame. So
That's
if you
true.
want to apply to the US, start studying for those in high school. And if you can, actually take them in high school. Because you can take them more than once. So if you take them in high school and you didn't do too good, then you now have the experience. Because after high school, you can now study more and maybe do even better than you did.
Yeah. I think there's normally a test date in December. So maybe immediately after you finish your writing your 12th grade exams, you can also just extend that and write your SATs in December. And they carry a fee of I'm not sure about the fee, but they come with a fee. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a small investment in your future. And yeah, like Jackson said, if you can, it's not like you'll be studying totally new material. It's just different strategies that you have to employ specifically for the US because of the time constraints and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. If you can write them as soon as you can, and again, you can write them more than once. But one important note is that they are absolutely necessary if you want to study here in the US. Think of them as your entrance exams or your grade 12 exams to go to the US. So you're
Yeah.
going to the US, two things count, your grade 12 exams and your SAT exams. Think of
Hmm.
them as one thing. You cannot just present your grade 12 exam, say, here are my results, I'm applying to you. No, you also need that SAT exam. And one thing about the SAT is everyone writes the exact same test, I think, worldwide, right?
Yeah. For
So
that, for
some,
that.
yeah. So someone in Malawi, Asia, whatever country, as long as they're taking it at the same time as you, they're taking the exact same result. So it gives American universities at least a level playing ground of judging everyone to say, okay, this one got this one got this. And then, okay, they're all qualified, so now we can move on to other parts of the application. So it's not specific to a country. Everyone writes the exact same thing. So you're also kind of judging yourself
Yep.
on that level,
Yep.
which is good. It's marked out of 1600, right?
Yep. 800 math, 800
Right.
English.
Right. So anything above, I think 1100 should get you a chance to apply into New Seasons Youth Program, which
Hmm.
will then in turn use those results to apply to US colleges on your behalf, right?
Yep.
That's how it works. Yep. So two things there. Your SATs will be used by New Seasons Youth Program when they apply on your behalf to US colleges. So New Seasons has set a passing mark or a cutoff point as to the SAT score that a student needs to get for them to be considered as a New Seasons youth participant, which is 1100. And for more details on this, you can actually just go to the New Seasons website and you'll find the student application there and frequently asked questions. And I'll try as much to bring up some of the frequently asked questions and maybe we can answer them. So yeah, up to that point, what would you add on?
Yeah, so now you have the experience, you've done some community service work, you are studying on you've studied on your SATs, probably written them, and you've written your final exams. Now you've graduated. In fact, even before you graduate,
Mhm.
start searching for schools. You do not have to wait. So sometimes, like even before you write your results come out, right? You can start having these conversations with universities and specifically to new seasons. You can reach out and apply before the results come out because they can have your package and then when the results come out, just add on on the package and then they have the full thing, right? So you can have the conversations in grade 12 or just after you write your exams. Reach out, go to new seasons. One thing I need to stress is Zambians, you have this tendency, especially Zambia. Anybody who's listening, I'm not really sure. But Zambia, we have this tendency of wanting things to be handed to you on a silver platter. You need to put some work. So when we say go to this site, you need to go there. It's your future you're investing in. So uh, take some time. You need to do extra things. Nothing will be handed to you on a silver platter. Not everything will be given to you on a silver spoon. You need to put some work. When we say do this, do that, go on the site, get the application and start working on those. Start working on the essays because there'll be essay questions. And now that you have the exposure, you have the experience and all these things you did, essay questions will come easy. You now have a lot of things to talk about. Bring out why you need that scholarship or you need the assistance to find a scholarship. Bring those things now at that moment. Take time to perfect your craft, your essays and all that stuff. When the results come out, of course, then you can add on top of that and complete your package.
Yeah, and I think in terms of doing things as you're told, if you're not sure about anything, absolutely just send an email. We live in a digital world. I'm sure the contacts there, the email addresses. You can also there's also a Facebook New Seasons Youth Program group where you can just post your question then. 10 out of 10 times someone will answer that question who's a participant. Um, I've also had a lot of people inbox me just about, how to go about the application process. Most of them Nigerians, surprising. Uh, I haven't had a lot of Zambians reach out on how to apply, but that's why we are making this, right? So that we can also share that. So if you have a question about something, you're not sure on how to go about something, just ask. Either, you know, yeah, however way you can ask, you can reach out to someone who you've seen, you know, who is a participant. Everything is at your fingertips, really. So we are here to help and guide you. If you're looking going this route, you can also always just reach out to us. I think we're going to put our email address in the description. So it's a fairly straightforward process as we are giving you the stepwise direction on how to go about it. Okay, so where were we?
Uh, Now they've gathered the information, they've started the application process.
Right. So you've written your SAT, you have your results, or you don't have your results. You are looking into applying to New Seasons Youth Program specifically. So Jackson, why should I apply to New Seasons Youth Program instead of applying directly to colleges? What's that about?
Okay, number one, we know that in life, generally, we talk of these things known as connections. And the other term for connections is a street word. Connections just means Who do you know that can help you get to where you are, right?
Right.
So the advantage of using new seasons is that they have a reputation. They have a history. They have people that they've helped. Over 50 students have graduated from new
Yeah.
seasons. So they have people in the organization, in schools right now, and people that have graduated as well. So they have that experience. They can easily go to schools and say, hey, we have this number of people that graduated. They did extremely well at your schools. We want to bring somebody extra. And it will be easier. Because remember, you're not competing against Zambians. You're competing against the whole world. So applying to college directly, while you might have a chance, there are people that have gotten applying by themselves, right? But you have a better chance applying when you use organizations like New Seasons. So to apply to New Seasons, first of all, they have a number of universities already where they exist, and you have a lot of chances, to get into college using them. That's a major advantage actually, because they know the whole process and they can guide you. So they'll tell you, okay, we need ABCD, we need you to do this. So they'll give you all that information, and you can just give it to them. Right? So it's easier that way applying to them than doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the major advantage of using them.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. They have that reputation where they have, I always think of it like they've built these connections with certain schools and they're still expanding. So chances of you getting in are higher as compared to when you apply by yourself because first of all, they know the entire application process from A to Z. They've been doing it for a while now, so they know how your application should be tailored and they'll help you with that once you're accepted into the program itself. They will package your application in a way that is in a way that makes it stand a higher chance of it getting accepted as compared to when you're just doing it by yourself because you don't know how most of these things are done because you're a first time applicant, right? Or even if you're a
Yeah.
second time applicant, which you do not want to be, but might happen. So you're hoping this organization, which is specifically there to help you, go through this entire process seamlessly, will help you with. My manager always says you do not have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been invented,
Yep.
right? So New Seasons Youth Program will help you streamline that process. Once you apply to the program and you're accepted, they will then take your application and give it to a myriad of universities that will then have a look at your application and 9 out of 10, well, let me not put a figure out of it, but you stand a higher chance of getting in. So now, what does that application process to get into New Seasons Youth Program look like?
The first thing, of course, go to the sites and either is the application on the site? I think it's on the site, right?
Yeah, everything is on the website, and the website is newseasonsyouthprogram.com. That's it.
It's literally the name of the organization.
Yep.
Go there and get the application. So you potentially you have your results, you have your SATs, and you go to the website, you get the application, and you need to start filling it out. So if you have any questions, I think the email address is written there, or you can reach out to anybody to ask about the specifics of whatever they need in the application. There's a lot of questions about, they need to know who you are. There's essays, because you need to qualify. They cannot help anybody. You need to reach a certain level and you need to be undergraduate. You'll be shocked how many people come and say, no, I want to do masters. Can I apply to New Seasons? New Seasons is for undergraduates. Maybe in the future they will expand, but for now it's for undergraduate. Um, you need to have the results, the recommendation letters. The recommendation letters, you need to have one from your school and I think one from community member or church or something like that, right? Or
Yeah.
should, yeah. But
I
yeah, you
think
need to
two
have,
from school and then one
and
from
then
elsewhere.
elsewhere. Yeah. So you need to have those. If you do not have people yet, just start talking to your teachers, befriend them, and they should write a recommendation for you. Essays, personal statement. Uh, you need to write that in a way that shows who you are, why you need it, and maybe we'll touch a little bit about the personal statement. But that's basically the process. You need to have all those things packaged, and then I think after you have those things written and filled out, you email them to New Seasons. I think they have their email, New Seasons Youth Program at yahoo.com.
Yeah.
Uh, Send them that, and then from there they might require extra things once they start. Because the thing is, this is the first stage to get into New Seasons.
Yeah.
So this is not applying to colleges. This is getting into New Seasons so that you can start applying to colleges. So yeah, I think that's the step. Gather all these recommendations, fill in the application, gather the results, uh, and yeah, send them over. And they might ask for extra information after that. But nine times out of 10, these are the things they actually need.
Yeah. So, like you said, the application into New Seasons, amongst other things, needs 3 recommendation letters. Uh, and then you just fill in some other demographic information. What's your name? Where are you from? And other stuff. I think there's also an essay prompt where you sort of just say exactly why you're applying to, a college in the US. Why do you feel like it's important for you to study in the US as compared to your country? So that's where you pour your heart out. You talk about why you personally think it's a great idea for you to study abroad, right? And that looks differently from so many different people. So just be as honest as you can and yeah, send it in. And so after you finish your entire package, like Jackson has said, you send it in. I think another step of the application process or post application is they streamline. So another thing that maybe is important to say is of late, the number of people who are applying to New Season is just off the roof. There are so many people,
There's a
so
lot.
so many people. It's the entire of Africa applying, Africa plus the Caribbean.
Yep.
So you can imagine how many countries that is and how many applicants that is.
Hmm.
So off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure it's more than 100.
It's way more
So
than 100.
way more than that. They screen through, I think they streamline the numbers and then they invite a few for actual interviews.
Hmm.
So these are virtual interviews, I must say, where they just want to get a feel of you, who you are, one-on-one. What do you stand for? How confident are you? Is whatever you wrote in your application true? They might throw in a few other questions there just to sort of gauge where you are and that sort of stuff. So again, just be truthful, honest, and just be you, right? That's the best advice you can ever be told when doing an interview. Just show your authentic self. And then once that interview is done, so again, so many people, so they go through the whole interview stage. I think it takes them a while. So once that's done, you now just wait to hear if you've been accepted in the program. And
Hmm.
then, like Jackson said, once you're accepted in the program, if they need other material, they'll reach out to you as they prepare your package to send out to colleges. And yeah, I think the entire process from application, so maybe the deadline. The deadline this year is when 31st June. It's,
I'm not really sure. Oh,
I think it's
I think
31st
so.
June or July. Again, everything is on the website. So there's a
Yeah.
deadline. Once you apply by that deadline, then the next steps, like we've outlined, where interviews come through, and then if you're accepted or not, come to you. And
Yeah.
then So if we're talking specifically this year, right? After that, they will apply to colleges, and I think by December you should hear back as to what college you'll be going to, what college has accepted you. If more than one has accepted you, they'll tell you that, and they'll tell you to select which one you want to go to. And then the next year, August, you'll be uh,
Travel.
you'll be traveling. I think we kind of did it uh, differently, where we traveled
Yeah.
in December. So, but anyway, that was because of the entire COVID situation. But that's sort
Yeah.
of the outline. I'm not sure if you want to add anything else, Jack.
Yeah. So just one thing. Uh, let's say I don't know at what point. I think even like the first time you're applying, right?
Hmm.
Try to get your passport ready, because there are many
Yeah.
times where people they've gone through the first stage, and you are now in the program, and that's when you want to start working on your passport. And passport sometimes they take time to give it to you. So the earlier you start it, the quicker the process will be. So get your passport. If you don't need it for new season, you might need it to travel elsewhere. And you just need to have the passport back. Just start working on those things even before you are asked. And if you don't have another seat, then that's even worse. You need to have all these things, before they start asking for these things. You are applying to the US. So you will need a passport. So start working on those even before they tell you. Whether you make it or not, you don't get them. Because once you pass through the first stage, they start applying for your college. Your college will need certain information from you. And passports is needed for you to travel and for them to give you the I-20s and all that stuff. So yeah,
Mm.
start working on those even before they tell you. Don't wait for them to tell you.
You also touched on something that I think I've gotten questions on. Let's say I did clinical medicine and I want to go and study in the US. What do I do?
I think you are better suited to answer that question. You are better suited because
Mm.
uh, you can. I don't know. I think let me let you answer that.
It's a tricky one. And here's how I answer it, right? Like you
Yeah,
said, New Season's youth program by itself only accepts undergraduate students. So what
yeah,
undergrad means is you're straight out of high school. Okay, so you're straight out of high school. It's basically broken up into undergrad and graduate school and professional school.
yeah.
Undergrad, straight out of high school. Graduate school, you're straight out of undergrad, right? So it's feeding into the next one. So undergrad, that's where you get a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Graduate school, that's where you get either a master's or a
So PhD.
PhD. And then professional school, that's where you get your MD and all those other stuff. So yeah, New Seasons currently only takes undergrads, meaning you can have your clinical, you can have that degree, but your chances of getting accepted in New Seasons are extremely low because I think they try to give priority to, straight out of high school students and stuff like that. Besides, even if you have that degree, you still need to go the entire route where you have to take the SATs, make sure you pass. And New Seasons also have a caveat of you have to be under the age of 25.
Yeah, I believe it's 25.
Yes, 25 when applying. So if you're within the range and you think you're a great candidate, by all means, go for it. But just
Mm.
know you're going to start from undergrad,
Yep.
and then certain majors or careers do not exist at undergrad. For
Mm-hmm.
example, medicine does not exist at undergrad. You have to do an undergraduate degree first, which can be in anything, and then you go to a professional school, which is where professional school means schools like medicine, law. Uh, yeah, I think these two are what's considered as professional. Maybe others. So you need to do an undergrad, which takes 4 years, different degree in something else, and then you go to a different school. So that's kind of how the US system is structured. Everyone has to do an undergrad, and then there are accelerated undergrad programs where you can finish it in 3 years and stuff like that. But again, New Seasons does not encourage that. They want you to go the entire 4 years to get the maximum exposure, which is
Mhm.
why it's highly beneficial for someone who's coming straight out of high school. I'm not sure if that answers it.
Yeah, it actually does. And most people ask this question. No, I want to do my masters. Can I apply to UCs?
Yeah.
You can apply, but just know that you have to do undergraduate because they apply for undergraduate as well. So if you want to go back and do undergrad, by all means, come through, look at the programs they have that makes sense to you, and then after that, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and like I said, priority is given to someone who's coming straight out of high school. And then maybe if you want to do something like a master's or a PhD program, you can apply directly to those schools that you want to apply to.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they will need for you to have something like SATs or IELTS. I think they're called IELTS or
IELTS, yeah.
yeah, or TOEFL, whatever they're called. So basically, just to for them to see how confident or conversant you are with English. For some reason, Zambia is not considered an English-speaking country, so that's why you need those certifications to sort of verify or certify that you're conversant with English because the mode of delivery of these degrees is English. So they need to be sure you can actually understand English. That's why you
Mm-hmm.
need to take those exams. So yeah, master's level or PhD level, you can apply directly to those schools. Again, same thing applies. You are applying uh, just like any other person, and you've been an application pool with people from all over the world. So again, your chances over there are kind of slim. And another thing to consider is funding when it
Yeah.
comes to masters and PhD programs. Masters programs in the US, very few of them give funding to
Mm-hmm.
international students, if any. PhD programs will give you funding. We can have a whole discussion about that, but that's a discussion for another day. Right now, we're concentrating on undergrad
Yeah.
and new seasons. I think we've covered all the bases for NSYP. If there's anyone who has any question, just feel free to leave the questions wherever you're watching this from, and we can easily get to that.
Yeah.
What was the next topic on the agenda?
Any other programs? So it doesn't really matter what organization. I think most of them follow the same format as New Season.
Yeah,
The same things we talk about for New Season. Those will be the exact same things you're gonna encounter in other organizations. And yeah, I don't think there's any need to like go in detail because it will just be recycling the same information.
yeah. Maybe we can highlight some of those other organizations. I think off the top of my head, in addition to New Seasons Youth Program, there's another one specifically in Zambia which is doing great things of taking in students and actually prepping them for SATs. And I think you go to like their specific site and they teach you about SATs. It's called Our Moon. Pretty sure you've heard of it.
Yeah,
It has helped a lot of students that I personally know. And I think it doesn't only take them to the US, it takes them all over the world. I think I know of someone who's in India, someone who's in the UK, someone who's in Costa Rica on different types of scholarships as well. So our Moon is another organization based in Zambia, which will help you with actually preparing for the SAT. So you just after high school, you apply to them, and they will interview you, pick you, and then take you up. Not sure if you know of any other.
so there's one I was a part of, but I don't think the Zambian one is operational now. I might be mistaken, but there's USAP. So USAP, I don't think the Zambian one is still there, but if it is, you can look them up. They do the same thing that our moon
What
does
does
as
USAP stand for?
well. I think it stands for United Students Achievers Program or something like that. Yeah, I think that's what it stands for. Yeah, there's that. You can use those. Uh, and some other programs that you can consider before going straight to the US is programs like the African Leadership Academy in South Africa. Those are like 2 year programs where you get a certificate, but also they prep you to apply for colleges outside the continent or within the continent. There's one that Martin went through and applied to is Ashinaga. You can try for those. They'll take you either, I think it's in Ghana or something. Try for those as well and just see, uh, what you can get from there. Martin got his scholarship because he went there. So, there's a lot you can do from that. There's UWC, I think United World Colleges. These, they take people from like across the world. Examples that I have right now is Christian, who went to Germany. I have a friend who went to Yemen. They through UWC, and after, like, once you are there, they prep you guys for SATs and all these other stuff and college applications, and almost 100%. Uh, every person that goes there gets a scholarship to the US or anywhere across the world. So if you can get into these programs, do so. And also one thing I forgot to mention, like while in high school, the things that I did that you can try for, there's the Yale Young African Leadership Academy. That is, like it says, African Leadership Academy. That's within Africa. I think they do it every year. Is it in June, July, somewhere there? So while you're in school, grade 10, 11, you can apply for such programs as well. They teach you about, world, like the world outside your nation, application process to the United States specifically. And you can get a chance to get into the Ivy Leagues like Yale University. So you can try for this. There's the Yale Young Global Scholars Program as well. I did that as well. So you can try for such things while in high school. You don't have to do the conventional things. There's a lot of, I think, organizations and programs out there. Just look them up, but the process is pretty much the same as New Season. So yeah.
Yeah, and we'll probably uh, put a list of them on the video here so that we can maybe look them up or recommend them to friends, cousins, brothers, sisters,
Hmm.
partners, all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's been pretty much everything we wanted to cover, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The rest you kind of figure out as you go. And I think also this year we said we are going to help someone with their SAT, right?
Yep.
Um, did we agree on how many? I think we should do two. Two is a good number.
Yeah, we can help too.
We can help two. One male, one female to balance the equation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. So if you want to sit for the SAT and you would like for us to give you that opportunity, just I don't know, how should we do this? Should they send us email? Should they comment?
yeah. They can send us an email. Yeah, I mean, you can also comment. We'll reach out, but you can reach out in our inbox. Let us know, and then we'll do the scanning, and we'll get some information from you to determine who needs it the most, and we will help 2 people with their SATs this year.
This year? Correct. So that would be a good initiative for us to just sort of give back and make sure we are actually, leading the way and providing these opportunities to those who are actually in need and taking that step forward. So hopefully we can have as many people applying for this, depending on the response. Maybe we can increase that number.
Yep.
Should we have the capacity? But again, this is just meant for us to give back and help in as much as we can. Uh, so yeah, looking forward to those applications. I have nothing else to say, and that was it. That's it from my end.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've talked about a lot of stuff. You've heard it here, and if you have a younger sister, younger brother, cousin who is in high school right now and looking for colleges outside the nation, you can share this episode with them, and they can get to hear about the opportunities we shared, and you can be one of the lucky people that we sponsor to write to sit for the SATs this year as well. So that's pretty much it from us. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and support the channel, like the videos, share this, and leave a comment, suggestions on things you want to touch on. And yeah, just help support the channel in many ways.
If you've never shared any video, liked any video, please like this one
This is
because
the one.
this is the one.
There's
So
information here that people benefit from.
a lot of information, especially people who aim high and want to achieve big things outside of their country.
Mhm.
So yeah, until next time,
Cheers.
cheers.